in Monaco. You're not on the fucking water, you dickheads.
Hello out there in internet land. This episode of the F1 Chat is brought to you by Walking Death, because that's how we all feel this week. Exactly. This is the F1 Chat. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Sitting to my left is my usual co-host who, I'd say he's got a few words he wants to say to Pierre Gasly right now, and that is JB. JB, how are you, my friend?
You know, it's a good thing this race happened in Miami because I've got a rat, a bucket, and a blowtorch for him.
Like Eduardo Freitas.
Like Eduardo Freitas.
The villain from Too Fast, Too Furious, Eduardo Freitas.
Except his name is...
Carter Verone.
Yeah, that guy.
Also the race director.
He's also the race director. And to my right is a man who... He's not very well, but he's going to try and do his best. It's Longhorn. How are you?
Yeah, putting the deaf and walking deaf at the moment, that's for sure. But I'm here. Ready to go.
He's representing, unlike Barry Enchilada. I suppose he's got the fear of death.
Yeah.
So
He's got an entirely different fear of death.
he's got... There's an Iron Maiden song named after him called Fear is the Key. Also Fear of the Dark.
Fear of the misso. Hey, Sophie, hope you're well.
Right, so we just endured the Miami F1 race, the Miami Grand Prix from Miami, Florida in America, Miami.
Hard Rock Stadium represent. Dan Marino, my boy.
Fuck me, that was a boring race.
That really
Yeah, it wasn't great.
That really was not fun.
And the track layout felt like it was a combination of Azerbaijan and Sochi, but all like the bad bits of them.
Yeah.
Do you know this track had 36 layouts initially?
And they picked the
is
worst
one
one?
they chose,
Jesus.
with the dicky uphill chicane and the...
600 S's.
I'll be honest, like, it didn't look too bad on paper. But as soon as the cars got there, it's just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know who else said it doesn't look too bad on paper?
Matilka.
Yeah, fucking Herman Tilke. So yeah, this doesn't look too bad. I have designed the masterpiece. It is perfect. The drivers will love it.
Yeah, they'll love it.
Fuck you, Tilke.
Carlos Sainz swearing in the cool-down room probably tells you, oh,
All you need
this
to
track was fucked.
Gosh, I hope they change the layout over the next 10 years just to
Well, they have 36 of them to fucking choose from. So just start flicking through the book, man.
pick one out of the hat.
It's not a permanent track. They can redesign the fuck out of it. It's a car park.
They need more of those shopping trolley bays.
Yeah. Maybe they needed to include
Or shopping
that.
trolleys, just in the...
Yes.
Maybe they needed to include that uppy bit that fucking that promo video showed.
Yeah, up the stadium.
The-
they
the
should just
cage.
go up the
cage.
outside of
Into
the
the
stadium.
tunnel, into the stadium.
Yeah.
Yes.
Surely they're going to do that after the spectacle they tried to give us at how over the top it was at times.
Oh.
Well, they couldn't be too far away from doing that, right? Actually going up that thing and then driving around the stadium or something and
but-
coming back.
Up
mean,
the Canelands car park.
the whole thing was such a bloated mess. Like the track is nothing amazing, and then like everyone's complaining about what's his name, Willie
T. Ribs.
Billy T. Ribs.
Willie T. Ribs.
Yeah, oh, fuck, he sounds like a fucking restaurant. Go to Willie T. Ribs.
He's got hickory smoked fucking pork ribs.
Has anyone seen the movie Friday After Next with Ice Cube?
Yeah.
And he's got like this commercial for his uncle's barbecue place called Bros Barbecue. He's like, you think of that barbecue place across the street? They give you more sauce, they give you meat. Bring your big ass down to Bros Barbecues. And he gives like the address, and then he's sitting there going, "Barbecue's so good, make you want to slap your mama." Isn't that right? And his brother, who is Ice Cube's dad's character, he gets up, he's like, "Yeah, boy," and their grandmother is there, and then he goes, the father goes, "Hey, Ma," and she turns around and he just whops her with like a slap, and she just stacks it like a sack of potatoes.
Willie T. Ribbs, if you don't know, was a race car driver back in the 60s and 70s. He was in Formula One for a season or two, so he does have relevance to all those people whinging about his appearance. He does actually have relevance.
Thank God he's got relevance, because if he didn't, it was horrible. But
Yeah.
given the relevance, it got a pass.
I will say, I would have preferred like if they'd been interviewed by Mario Andretti. Because
Yeah,
Andretti
cool.
was a world champion.
And he was there. He was on commentary in practice.
Oh yeah. We'll get to him later.
Yeah.
But the real cringe of it was me not turning my phone volume off yet again.
Every fucking time.
That's a fine.
Gonna start docking you pay in a minute, mate. Gonna start swinging the Spotify
Yeah.
royalties in my favour.
What Spotify royalties?
We'll fucking get there. Those
Joe
cunts
Rogan,
can't stop
we're
us.
coming for you, buddy. It's us three, Barry, our 20-odd followers,
That one guy from
Willie,
Brazil,
what is his name?
Willie T. Ribs.
Willie T. Ribs
Yeah.
barbecue.
Barbecue's so good, make you want to slap your mama. Hey, mama. It was all the stuff like the police escort.
Oh, the helmets
The
on the
NFL
podium. That was the
helmets on the
worst
podium.
part. Like, the police escort was cringe, but
Made worse by the fact that those black SUVs were blocking the path between where the drivers were getting into that moped thing and then into the stadium.
yeah.
So they started driving and it looked cool, and then they all stopped and had to wait for these cars to like back out of the way.
Or the fact that like they're driving through the stadium, pushing out like helmet, like the whole Red Bull
Almost-
team, like
almost
Christian
ran-
Horner, and
Almost ran over Jerry.
like
Nobody
Fucking
runs over Ginger Spice, all right? Nobody runs her over.
the helmets were the worst part for me.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
even what about the fake marine, the fake water?
Oh.
That Frank Marina, I actually didn't notice it after like 12 laps.
It was so not worth it. The money they would have put in to
The
move the
thing-
boats there.
Well, fucking, and the people partying on the back of the yachts
Yeah,
in the fake marina. It's not fucking Monaco.
I know.
You're not on the fucking water, you dickheads.
Yeah, why did they have to add that part?
Get off the fucking boat and go to the bar that's clearly over there.
Yeah. Just put
But I mean, clearly they can't actually emphasize Miami's main thing that they're known for, which is Cuban immigrants and cocaine deals.
And Eduardo Freitas,
And Tony Montana
Tyrese, and Paul Walker going
beating
to
V8s in an Evo 8 and a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Yeah. The only thing
There's
Miami's
the
known
fuck-
for.
You fuckers got me with this fucking Fast and Furious shit again.
Hold on. Well, we should go through the race results before you get too mad, mate.
Yeah, you fucking do that.
Have we got the actual results of the race?
Well, that the photo that's up on the screen for the YouTube people. Sorry, you Spotify people, you miss out.
On
But
Max Verstappen in an NFL helmet. Look how happy he looks.
Oh, he's over the fucking moon.
It's only like 45 degrees.
yeah.
He's got to wear a proper gridiron helmet. He's just sat there and worn a racing helmet for 2 friggin' hours.
Yeah.
In
Now
100
he's got to
degrees.
wear one of those. He's brought the caps out. He's like, thank Christ I brought these
I
out.
love how they've called this track the Miami International Autodrome. Even though it's not international, and it's the first time it's ever been fucking used.
And it's not really an autodrome
No.
either.
It's a car park.
It's a track around a car park, but good try.
Yeah.
That's like having a race around K-Lands and
We need-
calling it the Mackay International
The
Autodrome.
Mackay- Dude, it fucking is on a Saturday morning. Have you ever seen the Angry Prado mums?
Yes, Prados are the fucking bane of my life.
The Mackay International Demolition Derby fucking autodrome.
Prados and Kluger drivers.
Oh, man.
Oh, they're just soccer mums with nothing better to do than clog up K-Lands car park like it's someone having a fucking heart attack.
It's bad.
It's just their arteries. I was going to say something real cringe there, but I'm like, no, don't say that one. I could say it. He's my brother, but fuck it.
Don't go there, mate. All right. Read me the results, big man.
All right. So the actual results, because the photo that Fox Sports put up on Facebook about 5 minutes later was incorrect. So the actual results: Max Verstappen won the race. He also got the DHL fastest lap.
He did.
Charles Leclerc came second.
Nice little plug there for DHL. I like that.
Yeah, I know. They sent me my Ferrari shirt, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, all the way from Maranello. Third place was Carlos Sainz. Fourth place was Sergio Perez in the other Red Bull. Fifth place was George Russell in the Mercedes. Sixth place was Lewis Hamilton in the other Mercedes. Seventh place was Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo. Eighth was Esteban Ocon in the Alpine. Ninth, and this is going to make Longhorn extremely happy. Ninth place was Alex Albon in the Williams.
Cheer, boy!
2 points. 10th place, and the last of the points getters was your other favourite driver, Lance Stroll.
Boo.
11th was Fernando Alonso. 12th was Yuki Tsunoda. 13th was Daniel Ricciardo. What an absolutely barnstorming effort he did. 14th was 14th was your other favourite driver, Longhorn, Nicholas Latifi.
Oh, only because everyone had crashed out the race.
15th was Mick Schumacher. And then in the DNFs was Kevin Magnussen in 16th, Sebastian Vettel in 17th, Pierre Gasly in 18th, Lando Norris in 19th, and Zhou Guan Yu in 20th.
Yeah, fantastic day for us McLaren fans.
Yeah, just just was not McLaren's day, was it?
You could say that. All right. So, the Miami Grand Prix from the International Autodrome that will never be used again. It will be a car park by tomorrow. Lap 1. Both Aston Martins start in the pit lane after having to dump cold fuel out of their fuel tanks and refueling their cars, because apparently there's a rule that your fuel can't be too cold.
Yeah, what the hell? Like, there's a penalty for everything, isn't there?
There really is.
How do you get cold fuel?
I don't know.
And why
What
is
do
it
you
a
put-
penalty? Like,
do you put it in the freezer overnight? Is that how you get
how is it
cold
not
fuel?
the same temperature as everyone else's?
Don't you just fucking pump it out of the BP little fucking
Or the
thing on
nozzle?
side?
And then it...
It's $2 a litre though, be careful.
Yeah, like, isn't the fuel sitting in the car? So how do you
No,
cool...
they've got fueling gantries. I guess they, because they cool the oil. They cool the oil before they put it in the engine, or they heat the oil, one of the two, to like 100 degrees, so it's like perfect in the engine. I guess they could maybe like cool the fuel.
Because that's what I was going to say about the fuel. Like, why give it a penalty? Because wouldn't cold fuel
I
already
reckon-
be a,
but
like,
Cold
not what you want?
fuel, cold fuel, you'd be able to put more in the car, because hot fuel would like evaporate, right? Expand. I don't know.
But-
Anyway,
But is it with, like, oil, would you want the fuel warmer to
you could
go through it, burn quicker, or...?
I fucking don't know. I feel like putting cold fuel, you'd be able to put more in the tank.
No, cold fuel, it weighs more.
It weighs more.
Yeah, which means the car is over the weight limit at the start of the race.
Okay.
Because, okay. So, when they measure fuel for a Formula One car, they don't measure it in litres, they measure it in kilos.
Right.
And they're allowed, I think, 110 kilo of fuel. So if you've got cold fuel, it's going to weigh more because it's more dense.
So it's gonna say you put 100 kilos in
Yeah.
at a colder temperature, when really
When it gets to room temperature, it'll probably drop down to 90 kilo.
So they were trying to put less fuel and make it look like they put the right amount of fuel in the car, but they've actually put less fuel in the car because it's cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Holy fuck! That was
Fucking
an
science. Aren't you glad I did year 11 and 12 chemistry?
So did I, but I wasn't paying attention.
I know, otherwise me and Johnny would still be sitting here going, oh, would it be better to be hot
or cold? Is it like a chicken parmy where it needs to be hot or cold?
Leftover pizza, hot or cold? Okay.
Hot. You need pizza hot.
Well, if
by
it's
the way.
cold, it weighs more, so you
Yeah,
get
that's
more
right.
pizza.
That means
so-
you fill up faster.
Oh, this has been the most chaotic start to a podcast we've ever had.
You know what this is? This is the 1998 Spa F1
Yeah.
equivalent of a podcast.
Yeah, we've just had $3 billion worth of damage. People are like, can you just tell us the race results? And we're like,
No.
Eduardo Freitas is from Miami. Anyway, let's do this.
You be
Let's-
nice to Eduardo Freitas,
Let's,
all right?
let's get this out of
He,
the fucking
he
way.
likes it when you give him back his cutter, all right?
Yeah, or else his rat visits your daughter and your wife and your son. Okay, lap 1. Now that science has told us why the Aston Martin's fuel was cold, Charles Leclerc starts on pole position ahead of Ferrari teammate Carlos Sainz. Both Ferraris locking out the front row for the first time since Mexico 2019, with Max Verstappen third. Max Verstappen squeezes past Carlos Sainz into turn 2. Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso touch after Fernando gained 4 places off the start. Lap 3. Lewis Hamilton gets past Fernando Alonso into 7th. Lap 6. Lewis Hamilton passes Pierre Gasly for 6th place. Lap 7. Zhou Guanyu is forced to retire in his Alfa Romeo. Still no reason as to why he retired. I never found out why.
What kind of fucking journalist are you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on, you're supposed to find out this shit.
I'm sure I'll find out
Stop
later.
finding out about Eduardo Freitas.
Yeah, Phil's the scientist, you're the journalist, and
I just wanted
I'm
to
just
find out-
here.
I just wanted to find out why the fuel was cold. Lap 9, Max Verstappen sends it down the inside of Charles Leclerc for the lead of the race, the move turning out to be the race-winning move, retrospectively. Lap 11, Daniel Ricciardo passes Yuki Tsunoda, with Yuki pitting a lap later. He was the first car to stop. Lap 25, Charles Leclerc pits for hard tyres from second place. Lap 27, Max Verstappen boxes for hard tyres. Lap 28, Carlos Sainz pits from the lead of the race onto hard tyres, followed by Sergio Perez. Lap 39, Pierre Gasly and Fernando Alonso touch in turn 1. Lap 41, Lando Norris is hit by Pierre Gasly, who was apparently retiring from the race with steering damage. Lap 42, Sergio Perez pits for medium tyres. George Russell pits for medium tyres, and Daniel Ricciardo pits for soft tyres. That was under safety car, as Lando's McLaren was being recovered. Lap 50, Valtteri Bottas runs wide and loses out to both Mercedes. George Russell getting past Lewis Hamilton. Lap 52, Sergio Perez dives at Carlos Sainz, making contact into turn 1, but he outbrakes himself and loses the place back to Carlos. Lap 54, Mick Schumacher plows into Sebastian Vettel into turn 1. And lap 57, Max Verstappen wins the inaugural Miami Grand Prix from Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen taking home fastest lap and driver of the day.
Until about 3 laps before the race, I was going to vote for Mick Schumacher as driver of the day. He did a really good job until he applied hands around throat and proceeded to choke.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't. He just torpedoed Sebastian Vettel, you know, his mentor,
As you do.
as you fucking do.
As you do. I got to say, though, for the first time in a long time, that was hands down one of the most boring races to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't great.
I think the lack of excitement has led to, like, why we fucking deviated off track
Yeah,
from the start of this podcast. It's just like,
but I mean, the track is so boring.
yeah,
There's
And,
so many
like-
parts of it I don't like. I hate that chicane.
that chicane is
And
stupid.
I hate
if you look at the Jeddah track as well, there's a lot of S's in it. It's almost
But
like
it works in Jeddah.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like Tilke's just now got a hard on for S's. Before it was triple apex corners. Before that it was just trying to knock off other tracks that do this shit better. Now he's just slapping S's everywhere. It's almost like he's almost lost the will to use anything other than a half radius circle.
Yeah, I'm really keen to see if they change this track next year.
I
I think
really
they're
hope they
going
do
to.
because It was very, very processional. The only time it got a little bit exciting was obviously when we had the accident, but
And
Yeah, it was
that didn't happen. It would have
the
been
first 5 laps and the last 10 laps. Other than
Yeah.
that,
yeah.
And they had DRS on, like, there was 3 DRS points, and one of them, which was on the longest straight, it only used it for half of the longest straight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
it's
have that
completely
longest?
ineffective.
Why have that long a straight and not use DRS the whole way?
yeah, that was odd. That was a
What's the
head
point?
scratcher.
Like, what? Don't we want to see speed and overtaking? And you put the longest straight in the world there, the straight from the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah,
You know, the airplane tarmac.
pretty
You
much.
put that
was.
in, but you only give DRS for half of it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and by the time they got to use the DRS, the car in front had drifted away anyway.
Yeah, but you're only catching back that gap sort of back up,
Yeah.
and then you're in the
Yeah.
corner.
You lose like 3 car lengths, and then by the time your DRS is open, you gain back the 3 car lengths, but the gap you initially had is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a very procedural race, and
Yeah.
it just felt like it was Sochi meets Azerbaijan with a bit of Jeddah in it.
And it makes you think, as excited as Formula One is to have fucking 1,010,000 fucking US races, I mean, we could have gone to. I mean, what did this race replace? Istanbul, no, Portimao.
Portimao, yeah.
I'm pretty sure this race replaced Portimao, which is a brilliant track. And Vegas. We're getting the Vegas street race next year.
This got me not excited for Vegas.
and
overall.
that's gonna, that's replacing a track like Istanbul Park.
yeah,
There's
good
so
track.
many great permanent racetracks around the world that are losing out to these US street races that aren't producing exciting racing.
Or
Yeah.
because they want to capitalise on the
US
American market.
because of money. It's all got to do with money, which I understand. I do understand it, and I understand they're trying to grow the American market, but they do need to have a hard look at this race and go, okay,
I wonder, are they gonna, because the drivers complained about how hot it was, is one way to improve this race, make it a night race?
you know what they should have done? Considering it was so ridiculous with the police escort and helmets, they should have just only brought the softs, 5 pit stops, 20 sets of softs, off you go. That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
There you go. Off you go.
Yeah.
There's a race.
Fucking hell.
Balls to the wall. Fucking off you go.
Just-
10 laps pit. 10
just-
laps pit.
Just Formula 2 it. And
Just
have,
smash it
just
out.
have like 2 sprint races and just do like a supercars.
Yeah.
You just have like 3 fucking 30-lap sprint races. Fuck it.
Then just cut to your average American fan going, let's go. Let's go. And then cut back to just smashing it, pit stop, smashing it. Just, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't fucking surely that dude was like a plant or something, right? He's so excited for that one overtake.
I know.
That was-
And he had the Dexter Loomis fucking mustache,
I
too.
guarantee the cameraman pointed at him. He's like, "Boy,
you.
be a typical fucking American. Pretend you're at the NASCAR.
Give me your best, let's go.
Pretend you're at the NASCAR and Clint Boyer just took out the race leader on the last lap. Yeah, let's go. Pretend your favorite American fucking politician is about to become president. Oh, let's go.
Pretend you just got your favourite pick of the NFL draft that
Yeah,
you've never
but-
heard of before.
Pretend they just waived your fucking waiting period on your AR-15s. Let's fucking go.
Pretend you're at a Ted Nugent concert.
Yeah,
You're
fucking-
fucking let's go. Pretend you're at WrestleMania. Let's go.
WrestleMania.
Roman Reigns.
That's me. That's me, not him.
No, but it just, the whole race just felt like it was a bloated mess.
Yeah, you could tell what they were trying to do. They were trying to bring the Miami party atmosphere.
Oh, it,
Yeah,
just,
but you need a lot more cocaine for that.
it was just cringe the way they
But
did
it
it.
was just like they tried
And-
too hard.
And
Yeah.
it
I
was-
think the event itself was a success.
Yep.
The race itself was fucking needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
And overall, I think a lot of Europeans in general, actually, I took over our Twitter page, by the way.
Nice. Nice.
And someone said, I actually put it up, the photo of Max in the gridiron helmet on the podium, and I'm like, it was I know what they're trying to do, but do you think it was a little bit too American?
yes, it was.
And that was exactly the reply. Like, that was way too
a
American. Like,
little bit too much.
it's like
yeah.
you guys are trying too hard to make something happen that,
Yeah.
You know,
It's probably naturally going to happen anyway. It's one of the biggest spectacles on the planet.
it's the
Formula
Too
One,
Fast, Too
you know?
Furious fucking syndrome. It's like, oh, Miami, it's fast cars, street cars, hot women,
Yeah,
fucking yada, 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 Dueto Freitas and his fucking rat.
yeah.
And fucking... and it's just everything they envisioned it to be to everyone outside of fucking America was fucking cringe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fake water, out of the cringe things we
The
named, I
fact
probably
that
could have
that
dealt
wasn't
with.
the worst.
Yeah, I know.
By the end of the weekend, the fake marina wasn't the most cringe part of the
I know.
whole fucking weekend.
There's your problem right there. There's your problem. Like,
I just couldn't understand why they were partying on yachts that were on the ground. It's like, why are you on the yacht? Like, what are you doing?
just put a grandstand there and let more fans in, because that was apparently a problem with this race, was getting tickets.
yeah.
You can see why, because they're putting in fake water for some douchebags to sit on the back of a yacht.
That's not in the actual
You're not
water.
in Monaco. Like,
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, like the track layout was shit. You know, that chicane, that super tight chicane, they could have gotten rid of that because it did nothing. It did nothing.
The
But
fact they've got
slow it.
36 layouts to fucking choose from.
And yet,
it's time to
if they
scrap that
change the
one.
layout, everything we've complained about will probably still stay. And everything that was good, what little of the track was good, will get thrown out. And they'll probably go for something else other than one of the 36 different versions of the layout.
Yeah.
They'll probably end up driving through the fucking tunnel where the police escort went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Drive
there's
around.
No
Stadium.
overtakes in there. That's, you know,
Yeah.
it just felt like this race was trying so hard to be Monaco. But it lacks that
Monaco has prestige that's been around for years.
yeah.
You're not going to recreate that off of one, not even in 10 years. Like, this is going to be here for 10 years. You're not going to recreate that in 10 years.
No.
Like, you're just
Yeah,
not. And there's the criticism of Monaco is it's a boring race. If you wanted to recreate that, you did. Like,
Congratulations,
Yeah.
you recreated the rolling street parade that is the Monaco Grand Prix.
It's like that movie Moneyball where they tried to replace all the players that they lost. And Billy Bean says, we're going to recreate these players in the aggregate. That's what they've done. They've recreated Monaco in the aggregate.
without the prestige of Monaco,
Yeah.
which why Monaco is the only reason it
And
gets a pass.
Instead of having the prestige of what Monaco is and has, they've replaced it with just pure and utter cringe.
Yeah, this was definitely a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
This was just F1 trying way too hard to appease their American masters.
It got me very not looking for. I was half getting on the Vegas thing because I wasn't excited about the racing, but I thought I'll give it one thing. It will be a huge spectacle. But now it's just got me cringing
The
at the
only
idea of
thing-
what they're going to do.
The only thing about Vegas is it'll look good at night.
It will look cool, yeah.
That's it.
But now I'm even cringing about what they're going to do. Like, I'm just like, oh no, it's just
There's
going
going
to
to be a giant fucking slot machine for the podium. I can tell.
yeah, 100%.
It's going to be cool though, right?
Okay,
Right.
maybe that sounds
It's
pretty
just
cool.
like 3, 2, 1, ding, 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 jackpot. And it just like rains money, like fake money. Or real money, who cares? It's fucking Arab oil money.
Just reminds me of the first race in the old video game Daytona USA.
With the slot machine.
Slot
over the-
machine. If you push start, you actually stop the slot machine. If you get it on 777,
Yeah.
you get a free credit.
Fuck, imagine.
Didn't you know that?
They pull the Daytona thing out, there's just like the big slot machine from Daytona over the track.
And then the final corner's got Sonic the Hedgehog carved into the mountain.
You know what? Don't put it past them.
Yeah, what wouldn't? So who was your guys' driver of the day?
Up until 3 laps before the end, it was Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, he was driving unbelievable.
It was almost Valtteri Bottas, but then he lost out to the Mercedes, so I'm going to say Max Verstappen.
Yeah?
You know what? I'm going to buck the trend here.
Mhm.
I can't believe these words are going to come out of my mouth. I'd give it to George Russell.
That's who I was going to say.
He outdrove that car.
I thought you were about to say Lewis
And-
Hamilton. I'm like, where's
Fuck.
this going?
Fuck it.
That- look,
Oh.
Look, I know I'm cringe.
Yeah.
I'm not that fucking bad. Mate, Eduardo Fuentes and his rat are going to come and visit you if you ever think that fucking thought again. That's... Mate, what the hell? I think George Russell did really well. Like, he outdrove that car. He outdrove his teammate.
Again.
And I mean, like,
he picked his own strategy.
Yeah.
That's what I liked too. Is he like there was clips of him and Hamilton, and Russell was like, "No, let's stay on this. Wait for the safety car," which was probably like the call they might have gone anyway. But he was confident and he went for it. And Hamilton went when given the chance to create something. Oh, I don't know. You tell me. And then at the end of the race, is like, "Oh, strategy wasn't kind to me." Well, have some
It
balls
was
to
your
change it
call.
up then. Like,
it was
yeah.
your call.
You got to ask for a call when you went, "No, you tell me," and then you want to whinge about it later. Like,
It's like last race, before the race, he was like, "Oh, we're still in the championship." After the race was over, "Oh no, we're not in the championship. We're not fighting for the championship." It's like, well, I'm sorry, Lewis. I'm sorry that the cards have not fallen your way this year.
he's just such a poor loser. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually really cheering on George Russell this year. I'm enjoying him as a driver, even though he drives a Mercedes. Because even at the end, he come fifth. He was so excited for that. Like, good drive, guys. You know. And then Lewis, "Oh, we're not in the championship." It's like,
Yeah.
While we're
God's
here,
sake, Hamilton, because you're not getting it all your way. But
while we're here, we might as well address Barry's point as to why do we think George Russell is performing
better.
in the Mercedes better than Lewis Hamilton is because George Russell has gone from a shit Williams to a Mercedes, which is, despite its flaws, better than the Williams he was driving.
I think it could have to do
Meanwhile,
with...
Lewis has gone from his dominant W12 to the W13 that doesn't like him as much. Do you think, regardless of the W13's flaws, this is still the best car George Russell has driven, and Lewis is having to deal with this with a backstep?
Well, besides when he filled in for Lewis in the end of 2020,
Yeah, obviously.
because I mean he drove the what was that, the W11?
Yeah, and he got fucking robbed of a win with
Yeah.
that shitty pit stop.
Yeah.
I would say, I think there might be something to this. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they had Richard Saxby on, who used to work for Mercedes through all their championship winning seasons.
Yeah.
And he now is at McLaren Applied. But he was basically saying that, during those years, all Mercedes knew how to do was win. That's all they knew. They had the budget to just go 3 times. That's why they won. And now they're capped. They've lost quite a bit of personnel over the last few years. They've not been in this situation like other teams where they're scraping to try and churn out progress. Mercedes have just always had the top of it, just been elite at everything. And I think George has come from a team where they've had to scrape. They've had to do all that into a Mercedes team that is now scraping to progress
Yes.
and knows how to deal with that better compared to Lewis Hamilton, who's had 8 years of just pure domination and
Yep.
doesn't know now how to handle the scraping it back part.
Yeah,
because-
you've got a driver. That's fucking brilliant. You've
Well,
got a
it was-
driver with a battler mentality
Yeah.
coming into a team that's adapting to a battler mentality.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you've got Mr. Silver Spoon up here who's fucking just realised that he can't go out for caviar dinner anymore
Yeah.
and he's got to settle for his fucking toasted ham and cheese sandwiches every once in a while.
Yeah, and that's what I think could potentially be the difference. Because, I mean, it's not like Hamilton... George Russell and Lewis Hamilton are both obviously fantastic drivers. So it's like, why is George getting the most out of it compared to Lewis? And the one thing you can see is that George seems to be giving it a go, trying to be positive, all the rest of it. And Lewis is just whinging
Yeah.
and not happy. So I'd have to look into that and go, I think it's got to do with their mentality at the moment.
Yep, absolutely. I think you're absolutely
Yeah,
spot on.
the mentality and the team culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also saw Lewis do this when I think it was his last year at McLaren, when that McLaren wasn't doing well. And at one point, he's like, we're getting passed by a Mercedes.
Yeah.
I remember that vividly. Like, he was like, we're getting passed by a Mercedes. What the hell's going on? And then he signed with Mercedes the next year, and he had 1 year with the V8s in Mercedes, and he wasn't happy. And then all of a sudden, it was just V6 domination from 2014 on.
Yeah.
But even then, when he was in McLaren and they were getting passed by Mercedes, and it wasn't a very good car, despite what Jenson Button says on commentary nowadays about, he was still positive and blah, blah, blah. No one's buying it, Jenson, so stop trying to sell it, mate.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got George Russell, who come from Williams last year, who was fighting just to get a point. And when he got that point, and they're talking about it, you could see the emotion in his face of how hard they worked to get a single, just to get a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's come from that background where he was working so hard just to get a point. And Lewis Hamilton's crying over, just he gets third and he's crying at the moment. It's
Yeah.
it's like
Spoiled brat mentality
Yeah.
versus fighter mentality.
Well, this will actually bleed into one of the news stories I want to talk about is that Lewis Hamilton is still refusing to get rid of all the piercings and shit. He's got until Monaco to get rid of it.
yeah, right.
he reckons he's gonna keep it.
Yeah. And he showed up with like 3 watches because he's like, we're only allowed specific jewelry and rah, rah, rah. And this is me expressing myself. It's just like, grow up.
Look, I will just jump in. I'll play a bit of devil's advocate. What is the reason for them wanting the jury to be gone?
They reckon it's a safety hazard. Like if the car catches fire, things like the jewelry and that, like piercings in the ears, piercings on the nipples, piercings down there, they can all interfere with the doctors trying to medically keep you alive if you have a severe accident. Like they can interfere with, say he has an accident and he goes to a hospital.
Yep.
Those things interfere with them trying to get x-rays and stuff like that done fast so that they can save his life.
All right, I'm all for it then. I hadn't heard the reason, but if that's the reason, then take him off, Lewis. Like, surely you can take him off for a race.
Well, he reckons he's got 3 on him that are welded on and he can't take them off.
Well, at
That's
the end
what
of the day,
bolt cutters are for, buddy.
Yeah, you're in a sport that pays you millions and millions of dollars. You take him out, don't you? Put him back in when your race career's over.
And he's like, it's part of my identity. I'm sorry, but no one should give a toss about your identity.
No.
Your identity is you put a fucking helmet on, you drive a fucking car.
Your identity doesn't mean shit when you're being paid to win fucking races, dude.
And that's what people want to know you for, Lewis, is your helmet on in that car racing. Not you rocking up to this fucking... Did you see him rock up to this race? My missus walked in and it showed at the start of the race, like Verstappen's walking in, he's just got Red Bull team shirt on. Leclerc's walking in, Ferrari team shirt on. And these are the championship leaders, right? Fucking Hamilton walks in with a freaking this red jacket suit, no shirt on, so you can see like underneath. I'm like, just rock up in your gear, man. And then he'll be the first one. No one likes me because you're a fucking douchebag, man. Like, that's what my missus said straight away. She's like, gosh, he's a douche, isn't he?
Yeah.
She doesn't know anything about Formula 1 other than she knows Lewis Hamilton. Well, take that back. She knows a bit. Honey, you do well. You keep up. But Lewis Hamilton, just... If she's sitting there going, what a douche, it's like...
If
That's your reason, Hamilton. It's got nothing to do with the colour of your skin or anything else. It's your personality.
Casual as fuck viewers
Yeah.
turn on the TV at whatever Grand Prix. Team shirt. Fucking purple robe.
Yeah.
With slippers. I'm
mean-
like, for fuck's sake,
Is-
man.
is he a-
Pompous fucking idiot.
Is
Like,
he a Formula 1 driver or is he the lead singer
he's-
in a Prince tribute band?
He's a
Yeah.
rapper. He's Usher, dude. He is Usher. In his fucking head.
He's Antonio Brown, the rapper. That's what he is.
Oh.
Except to me,
fucking God.
he reminds me of Cisco. I'm just waiting for him to sing the thong song.
No, Antonio Brown's very fucking accurate, actually.
Yeah, that's him as a
Are you
rapper.
gonna-
If that's what
are
he
you gonna
thinks
take
he is.
your gear off and storm out mid-game as well?
Because he has to take his jewelry off.
Or
Yeah.
better
God,
yet,
no.
he feels like he is the Kanye West of Formula 1.
He feels like he's above the sport,
yeah,
and I hope Formula 1 put their foot down in Monaco and say, is your fucking jewelry off? And he's like, no. It's like, good, you're not racing this weekend.
Yeah.
Get your fucking fill-in driver. And he
Yeah,
said that.
Piastri.
He's apparently said that.
And he's like, we've got fill-in drivers. It's like, well, don't fucking think that you sitting out a race is going to make us fucking not stomp down on our fucking rules that we gave you an exemption for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take them off.
And I'll be honest, at first I was like, just take him out. But then I was like trying to see in his shoes and I was like, he is the only one with all this. Like, is it a bit of a, like, pick on him thing? Because in my head I was trying to work out, I was like, what's the difference? Like, it surely hasn't done anything over his race career to cause anything. But now that you've explained it to me, Phil, I'm like, just do as they say. Like,
Yeah.
if there's an actual medical reason to it that I can see it making some sense. By all means, very small percentage that you might ever be in that situation that might come into play. Their sport is still trying to look to protect you as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So just go with it, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's $1 million sport. You get paid very handsomely. All you have to do is take out a piercing.
And-
People have to do that for hard yakka jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like normal, everyday, hard yakka,
Like the people who
100-hour-a-week jobs.
You can't wear a fucking watch around a conveyor belt, dude. You
Yeah.
know why?
Yeah.
You can't wear piercings around fucking hooks and fucking moving fucking objects.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the people who actually, if he's in an accident, have to work at the hospital to save his fucking life can't wear that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't wear a watch while we're trying to defib you, you fuckhead.
Yeah, so just fucking do it. But then we get to another rule that's coming in. This, I think, is ridiculous. Now they have to wear specifically approved fireproof underwear.
I sort of on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
think-
know the belly club is fireproof and the race suit's fireproof, but if you're in a fire long enough, it'll burn through your race suit.
Yeah, and why not? If you're going to go the jewelry route,
Yeah.
why not do it with the
I'm
underpants?
actually on board with that, man.
I've got no
because
problem with that one either.
I don't want my junk getting burned in a fuel fire.
But Sebastian Vettel was making a big joke of it.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same as his other shirt that was sort of having a dig at them making a fake fucking marina. But I think Sebastian Vettel should worry less about the jokes and worry more about his career.
What career?
Yeah.
I
Once
still
over.
maintain he's out at the end of the
Yeah,
year.
I think so too.
He has to be.
Right, next news story. Drive to Survive has been renewed for seasons 5 and 6.
Okay.
Surprising. I'm not against it, but I thought they would have finished off the great ending they had of the last one.
I feel like they left money on the table, fucking not being able to. How did you get the best season of Formula One ever and just sort of meh it?
Yeah. They didn't
Because
do it
Will
enough
Buxton
justice, did
was
they?
involved.
Yeah, they. Fuck, man. Like,
They didn't
they had
do it
so much
enough
to play
justice.
with. They had so
You,
much
you
to
know
play
why
with.
it was? Because Max Verstappen said
Wouldn't
he
be in it, yeah.
didn't want to be in it.
I
Yeah.
think if Max Verstappen was in last year's Drive to Survive, it would have been the best ever, and then you could just fucking called it.
Yeah. But also, I mean, we had enough drama without Drive to Survive.
Yeah,
sort
now
of
they're going to
amping
hype
it
up this fucking. I guarantee they hype up this fucking Daniel Ricciardo's on his deathbed. Fucking Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc are butting heads. Max
Yeah, there'll be
Verstappen
that
hates-
for sure.
Here we go.
Well, that brings me along to the next story, is that there are, in fact, rumours going around that despite Daniel Ricciardo's contract being up at the end of 2023, that Zach Brown and Andreas Seidel are thinking about tearing up his contract at the end of this season.
I've heard they might even move him on before the end of the season.
I've heard there's a driver swap coming.
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo will be off to AlphaTauri, and Pierre Gasly will be off to McLaren in a straight swap.
Well, there's rumours that there are 2 drivers that are testing the McLaren later on this year. But before I talk about them, what do you think though? Like, I honestly, for me, this weekend, like seeing Ricciardo's helmet, where on top of the helmet was a Super Bowl ring that was missing a gem. And at the tail end of his helmet was the words "laces out" scrawled in like murder writing, which both of them are references to Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly am going to say, I've said this a few times, but Daniel Rick now really needs to knock off the clowning and the silly shit, and he needs to get his head down. And he needs to knuckle down now.
We've been saying that since the end of last season.
But I maybe him leaving McLaren is the best thing for him.
I actually had a thought when, like, if I'm being honest, it's not working at McLaren. And
No.
I don't see it anymore. I just don't see it working. Like, let's look at his race today. Do you think, he went on the mediums. Do you think he could have stayed out a little bit longer like Albon did it and wait for a safety car? Because when they pitted him was such a weird time for me because it just put him directly behind that DRS train and he couldn't do anything after that. It was kind of like a weird... I'm assuming, obviously, his tyres were completely gone.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
They had a
But-
slow stop too.
Yeah, and a slow stop.
Like,
But I'm like,
if his pit stop was a second faster, he's out ahead of the DRS train.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
And
true.
Fucking, but he qualified 16th. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds bad, but he was only 200ths out of the top, whatever it was.
Yeah, but that's all it takes in Formula One.
Exactly.
You've got to be that bit quicker, and he's got the machinery to be bettering the guys that are pipping him at the moment.
I think the car is very inconsistent. I think
The
I
McLaren,
think that-
Lando Norris isn't.
the McLaren didn't like this track.
yeah.
No, but didn't Lando Norris qualify? I wasn't at one point in qualifying he was P3.
Yeah, he was up in P3, but by the time the top 10 rolled around, I think he was 7th or 8th, maybe.
Yeah, but like, why is he getting? It's like George Russell, Lewis Hamilton. Why is Lando Norris getting 7th and 8th on a bad day, and
I think
Ricciardo's getting 16th?
Because Daniel Ricciardo didn't give himself a warm-up lap. They didn't give himself enough time for a warm-up lap to get his tyres in the zone. So he had to push, and I don't know if that's on the team or on him.
Yeah, it's
But
like you got to be onto this stuff when you're struggling. Like,
But I think
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for someone who's fucking this season is going to be do or die almost.
every race is counting right now. Like
you
you are
can't make
not.
these little miscalculations. These 18-inch Pirelli tyres take 2 laps to warm up.
Yeah.
Not 1. You can't be making these little miscalculations. Like, if he's not, surely he's feeling pressure now. He has to be.
I think he's already been feeling it. I think, as Phil's been saying, though, he's still been the Ricciardo, which we do love, but it gets a little bit old when you're performing really
Yeah,
badly.
you
The
can't,
laughy,
like-
character stuff. It's like you're getting pants by Lando Norris, and I hate to see it. Like, I like Lando Norris, but not more than Daniel Ricciardo. But he's trouncing you. He's making you look.
Daniel Ricciardo acting like a clown when he's finishing 13th, 14th, 15th
Yeah.
is like fucking Conor McGregor trash talking on Twitter
After
when
the,
he's been irrelevant for about 3 years.
yes, that's exactly right.
It's like,
exactly
man,
right.
cut it out and just focus on you for a sec.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm fucking Danny Rick's biggest supporter. I've got his fucking team shirt at home. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see him succeed here.
yeah.
But if he hasn't started feeling pressure already, like, what's the next race? I think it's Catalunya.
yeah, Spain.
Fuck me. Boring race into boring race, isn't it?
But
Yeah.
I got the impression when you just mentioned with his pit stop in this race, I think the team's given up on him.
I kind of had that feeling too, because when that pit stop happened, I was like, they seem to have been making some calls lately that I'm just like, are they just making bad calls trying to go for it, or are they like not giving him, because they've just made bad calls. Like even last week, they said it was the diffuser, and I know he had the accident and everything, but the strategy after that just went nowhere.
Yeah,
And then
what-
like after this one, like they threw him back out in the hards again, and I'm like, you seen how bad they were on your car last week? I don't know.
Both
It just
of the
doesn't feel
strategies, like, hypothetically made sense.
yeah, but
Daniel
it's-
Ricciardo at Imola going on the hards was because they were almost certain cars
but the
in
track
front
was
of him.
cold.
Yeah, obviously.
That's the part I couldn't understand.
Retrospectively. But at the time, under pressure in that situation, it's like we can pit him in the hope that the dag's enough that the cars in front of him have to two-stop, and we make positions that way. And here, it was like, we'll get him out of the fucking traffic, and if they'd nailed their pit stop, he's at the front of the DRS train and not the back. And unfortunately for him, they were a second too late on sticky wheel nut or whatever it was
Mm.
that put him to the back of the. So both those situations, in a hypothetical sense, could have worked, but in reality, it hasn't worked.
Yeah, and I guess when you're
And now he's
struggling,
under a fuckload more pressure.
it
like,
piles more pressure on
it
when
just
it's not going
compounds
your
and
way.
compounds and compounds, and now
Yeah.
both McLaren and Daniel Ricciardo are just in this big pinch.
Can I just say, going to the potential driver change with swap for him for Gasly, could that actually be half a blessing for Ricciardo? Just hear me out for a sec. He goes to AlphaTauri, dominates there again. Say he gets used to that car better, handles that car better. He should be able to dominate Yuki Tsunoda. Could that put his hand up for potentially going back into the Red Bull team? I know Perez is doing everything he needs to do, but Red Bull do love Danny Ricciardo.
Christian Horner really loves Daniel.
He
Ricciardo.
loves Daniel Ricciardo, and if they're going to swap him to AlphaTauri, that puts him back in that sort of ring. They rebuild the relationship. Is that an attempt at maybe him going back up to? Because they might look at it and go, Daniel Ricciardo might be able to. I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't. I'm just throwing things out here because why would you mess with the formula where Perez is doing a great job being a tail gunner? But maybe Daniel Ricciardo gives him a bit more. Then Perez,
My
which
only sticking point is, and in Christian Horner's word, Daniel Ricciardo turned down an astronomical amount of money to
Yeah.
leave Red Bull.
yeah, but it wasn't money that
He-
Ricardo left for.
He left for two reasons. He left because he didn't think the Honda engine was going to be any good. He thought they were getting the same engine that McLaren had. Yeah, that dog of an engine that Honda gave McLaren when they came back.
And he didn't want to be a number 2 driver.
Yeah,
So why would he want to be a number 2 driver behind now world champion Max Verstappen?
Because his moves have not gone his way at all, and he's at the point of almost
So
being out of Formula
so
1.
he's going to fucking full circle back to the situation that he originally got out of.
It could be
to
the
be in
best
the same-
situation for him than what it is now. What's it now? Getting out of Formula 1?
If that's what he wants, I mean,
I think the only
he's made some bad career moves.
I'm not saying that's what he wants to do. I'm just saying, like, say he gets swapped to AlphaTauri, is that the next best opportunity for him is to put his card forward to be the number 2 driver at Red Bull again, to get in a top car? Because if he drops from McLaren, I just don't see him going back to another top team.
I don't see
Yeah.
him going back to Red Bull.
There's too many other
You're gonna
younger
go
talents.
through- it's going to be like that Simpsons episode. It's like returning employees, and Sam is going to go through the fucking dog door on his knees. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, look who's come crawling back.
I don't.
Christian Horner will be on the other side of that dog door,
Yeah.
and Daniel Ricciardo will be on his knees. It's like, hey, remember 20 fucking whatever it was year
Yeah.
when you fucked off out of this team that was about to become a championship winning team, and because you didn't want to be upstaged by your teammate? Well, now your teammate's a world champion, possibly a 2-time world champion by the time he goes back there. There's not a chance in Hades he's fucking going to be number 1 driver.
No, look, I understand that, and I'm agreeing with you, but I'm just saying, like, if he gets swapped to AlphaTauri, that's either A, career done, or B, his only next opportunity would be to somehow work his way back into the top team at Red Bull, because what's he going to do at AlphaTauri? Like,
Nothing.
nothing. He's
Retire.
going to be Pierre Gasly, but
Yeah.
he's older and seemingly more past it, where Gasly's got that still potential factor. Ricardo's going past that. Like, this is meant to be where he is prime, and he's just not right now.
How does he schmooze his way back into the top Red Bull seat after
Well,
he abandoned them?
I don't think he's going back to AlphaTauri. I don't think
Yeah.
he's getting back into the Red Bull system. I think the only place he can go is replacing Latifi at Williams. That's the only thing he's got to keep him in F1, and I don't think he's going to get it. I think Williams are not going to be able to afford it, and unfortunately, one of the two names that I've read that's going to be in line to replace Ricciardo is Colton Herta.
IndyCar.
Now, I'm going to say this, though. So I watched the highlights from the Indy race from Alabama last weekend. First thing I'm going to say is that was a far better track than this fucking Miami race. It wasn't an oval, like it's a proper track.
Yeah.
And it was such a better track, but you can tell there's a bit of a gap between the IndyCar drivers and the F1 drivers because Colton Herta was struggling to get past Grosjean.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, Grosjean's in almost like a league of his own in IndyCar, and
Yeah.
in Formula 1 right now, he's where? Like,
So Colton Herta is apparently going to be testing the McLaren later on this year, and apparently Zach Brown is very high on Colton Herta. I didn't see anything in this race. If he can do an overtake on Grosjean and then Grosjean just happily just go, is that your best effort, and just retake him coming out of the corner, then I don't know. It just screams like maybe he's an oval specialist, which means fuck all in Formula One.
I see the jump from IndyCar straight into a top team like McLaren too much, if I'm honest. I think it's too big a jump.
But the other driver, also from IndyCar, is the guy who won the Alabama race, Pato O'Ward.
Well, he's actually been having time in the McLaren.
Who was in the MCL 35 at the young driver test.
Yeah.
So
But
he's
he even
driven-
said he
yeah.
struggled very hard with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to be a straight fucking...
That would be an over end of the season thing.
Yeah,
'cause
that'll
he'd
be
need
a
time. and-
fucking test driver almost role.
But I think one of those two guys is going to get the seat.
I think you
Well,
lean
with the
towards
American market going forward, I can see that happening.
And
Zach Brown's American.
And I think with whichever one of them two leaves to go and replace Ricciardo at McLaren, they're going to get Ricciardo to replace them.
an IndyCar.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah, that's-
Ricardo's days in F1 are numbered, perfed, and printed in triplicate.
yeah. I unfortunately think they're done because I just
Because, I mean, why would Williams pay an astronomical amount to get Daniel Ricciardo, who, let's be honest, he is starting to become a washed-up has-been?
not when they can get a Piastri in
That's right.
on the cheap.
Exactly. When you can get a Piastri, a guy who is hot, I don't mean in terms of looks, I mean in terms of momentum. He's hot. He has, he's got driver ability. He's young, which means they can keep him around for a very long time. Ricardo's only got 2-3 years left in him in F1 anyway,
Yeah.
and he is over the hill.
Yeah, he definitely looks over the hill.
He's not racing like a savvy veteran. He's racing like he's over the hill.
Yeah, he's racing like Sebastian Vettel at Aston
Yeah,
Martin.
he's not racing like Fernando Alonso. He's
No.
racing like Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah.
It's two very different fucking...
Checked out, but I don't think Ricardo's checked out. I,
don't
just think he's
checked
over the
out.
hill.
I think he's just genuinely fucking struggling.
I know, I'm just saying, like, to me, Vettel's checked out. That's why he's racing his way. But
Yeah.
Ricardo is racing the same as Vettel. I don't think he's checked out, but I think he's over the hill.
Right. So the next news story, and this was during, I think it was free practice 3 when they red flagged it at the Miami F1, was they had Mario Andretti in the commentary box. And they were asking him about Andretti F1. Now, his answers were a bit coy, but they asked him, when do you plan on Andretti Motorsport being on the F1 grid? His exact answer was 2024.
Ooh.
They said, have you got your car, like your design car, and you know what you're doing with it? He goes, locked in. Have you got an engine supplier? Locked in. Have you got drivers? We have some drivers that we are ready to lock in. The only have you got approval from the other 10 teams on the grid? Locked in. The only thing stopping them is the FIA. Now, if Andretti Motorsport come into F1 in 2024, that might be Daniel Ricciardo's only saving fucking grace. He
Yeah.
might be able to get in there.
Yeah, but if he's out by the end of the year, he'll have a year. Like, as you're saying, maybe he goes to IndyCar, dominates in IndyCar, because he'd probably be a lot better than all the drivers there. And that gives him his ticket back into
He gets a bit of
into Andretti.
gets rid of bit of ring rust,
Yeah.
a bit of confidence.
And they go with the young American driver of a Herta or something, and they take Ricciardo as the savvy veteran. Potentially.
Yeah. I think they're going to run Renault engines until 2026.
Haven't they been caught talking together, Andretti
Yep.
and the president of... Yep.
Yep. Photos are up of that.
Did I hear correctly as well that Williams are potentially looking at going to Renault?
No.
No?
They've signed a deal until 2026 to still run Mercedes. Because
I
they
got
get it
excited.
cheaper because they're going to take on
Reserve drivers.
Mercedes Academy drivers when required and take a few more listed parts from Mercedes. Which means they've become the Mercedes B team. Which then leads me to my next story. It was confirmed that VW are entering both Audi and Porsche into F1 as engine suppliers in 2026.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Now, Audi wants a factory team. They want a works team.
So another entry on the grid.
They don't want to build it from the ground up. Now, there was talk that they were trying to buy a share of McLaren, but Zach Brown has denied it and said that's not true. This time, I actually believe Zach Brown. I think they have actually turned down Audi. I don't think Audi is going to go to Williams. I think Audi is going to buy the team formerly known as Sauber, now known as Alfa Romeo.
Okay.
It's not the first time in Sauber's team history that they've been bought out by an engine manufacturer. Because in the 2000s, they were bought by BMW. And they were actually championship contenders in, 2008?
Yeah.
Or 2009, somewhere around there.
Yes, they were.
And then the global economic crisis happened and they sold the team back to Peter Sauber.
Yeah.
But I think that if they want to have a works team, that's their ticket.
Yeah. I'd be happy to see that too.
And it's also... And Audi is going to be working separate from Porsche.
Yeah.
Like, they're not sharing info. They're not sharing anything.
Awesome.
Audi is making their own power unit. Porsche is making their own power unit.
Right.
Which means Porsche apparently is working on a deal or has a deal in place to supply power units to Red Bull and AlphaTauri in 2026.
That one seems pretty far along the line too.
Yeah.
I know Honda will be... you've said that Honda will want to get back in 26, but I think Porsche wouldn't be putting their hat in the ring unless they're close to a deal already.
I think Honda's pulled out at the wrong time because they've pulled out, and by the time they want to come back in, you're going to have all these new suppliers that it's going to soak everyone up, and no one's going to be interested in Honda.
I think if Honda wants back in, unless they start talking to Red Bull now,
Yeah.
Honda's going to have to make their own works team and come back in the hard way.
Please do.
Yeah, that'd be great. But
And bring Toyota with you.
would Porsche want their own team too? Or are they happy just being
They're just
engine suppliers at this
happy
point?
supplying engines to Red Bull and AlphaTauri.
Porsche and Audi are both sort of... I mean, Audi... Did you say Audi wants to be a works team, though?
Yeah, they want a team to be like their works team.
I wonder if
but
Audi
they don't
will,
want it to be...
I wonder if Audi will team up with Andretti Motorsport then.
I think
They've
Porsche...
locked in with Renault, haven't they? Andretti?
Yeah, until
Yeah.
26.
Yeah, till
Oh, yeah,
26.
true.
By
Right,
which
after.
time Audi's coming in and wanting a team.
I think 26, if the Mercedes power unit doesn't get any better, I think Williams will ditch Mercedes and become a customer team for Porsche
They need to. They
or,
need to
or-
get out of
or
Mercedes.
Audi. It just depends on Porsche's agreement with Red Bull.
Yeah.
And Porsche has ties with Andretti, but I think Audi will go with Andretti.
Well, I'm hoping with Williams, like the talk is like they want to get rid of Latifi at the moment, who's a paid driver and brings in a lot of money. But apparently the big money backers of the new money backers of Williams just want performance, so they want Latifi gone. So I'm hoping, fair enough, if you've got to see out the deal with Mercedes till 2026, but I'm hoping that what they want from then on is to separate themselves and go back to being a team that's for themselves, that can push themselves, not being reliant so much on another team.
It's the only option that Williams has is to get away from that McLaren system.
Yeah,
Like,
or you're just going to be AlphaTauri.
Yeah, that's right.
At best, you know?
You're just pushing tin.
That's all you're doing. Which, please don't do that to me. I'd have to switch if they just commit to that forever. No.
And the final news story is that there is rumours going around that we're going to be losing Monaco in a couple of years off the grid, off the calendar.
You know what? It's finally time.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad about it.
I wouldn't be mad about it. I think they'd be more mad about it than we would be.
If you said to me it was a choice between keeping Monaco or keeping Miami, I'd keep Monaco.
Probably
Yeah.
keep Monaco.
Monaco's the one race for me that I know is processional, I know is a boring race, but I'm happy to keep it on the calendar because of its prestige.
Yeah.
It's races like Miami, the new races that come in that are boring like Monaco that I go, no, get out. Monaco gets a pass because of prestige. It's the one race, as I'm just saying, that can stay. They can sign it for another 100 years. I'll still watch Monaco and I'll still get behind it because of the prestige. You win it in qualifying, but there's the prestige to that. Like, you've won Monaco. It's a thing to the drivers. It's a thing to the fans. So I'm happy to keep it. I wouldn't be mad if we lost it, but I would be mad if, say, we lost it to go to a track like Miami.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're going to side swap it to a really good track, not a boring processional track. Simple.
And the other thing that's made me a bit sad is there's rumours that we might also be losing Spa.
Oh.
We need to keep that fucking track.
There's a few
can't lose
tracks in
Spa.
Formula One that you just do need to keep on the calendar. Like, I understand you're trying to grow and all this, but they're not filling me with a lot of hope with some of the new tracks they're putting in. Like, as we just seen with Miami, that was not interesting one bit.
Yeah, we're losing Monaco and Spa to be replaced by Miami and the Las Vegas street circuit.
Yeah, like, that's not exciting. Like, if you're adding them to the calendar, sure, but replacing prestigious, good racetracks.
I mean, I'm happy to see Sochi go.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see it get replaced by Malaysia.
Yeah, I'd like to see Malaysia.
You know, I don't want to see Albert Park go. After all the work they've put into that track, it did actually make it a better race. Imola.
Yeah.
You can't. We lost Imola for so long. We don't need to lose it again.
Yeah.
You know, Hockenheim. We need to keep
Bring that-
Hockenheim,
yeah.
even though it's not real Hockenheim. It's not the Hockenheim that I know and love. We need to keep that track.
I don't know, man. It hasn't been on the calendar for a while. Is it back this year?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to keep Hungary.
Yeah.
You know, Zandvoort.
They really just brought that back.
Yeah,
I
they
think
brought
it's
Zandvoort back.
But I mean, like, bring back Kyalami.
Yeah,
Stop giving us these fucking Tilka disaster pieces.
Give us Macau.
No.
I like US Macau. Or else they will
Yeah.
be defibrillated
Yeah.
fucking Lewis Hamilton.
No, they won't be able to because all his fucking bling.
No, sorry, you're dead, Lewis.
Yep, sorry.
No, but like as you're saying, there's
I'm
a few
sure
tracks,
Tom Brady will go to his funeral.
Yeah, sure you will.
as you're saying, there is a few select tracks that just need to be on the Formula One calendar, and you know, races like Spa, Imola. I think Monaco's one of those races. Like I said, if it was to go, and you were bringing me a really exciting circuit, I could live with it. But I don't trust they will. I don't trust that they'll bring me an exciting circuit and replace it. They'll bring me another Miami
Yeah.
that I won't find interesting, and I would rather watch a processional Prestige Monaco than a processional over-the-top cringy Miami.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's a question. How do you fix Monaco?
You can't.
You
You
can't.
can. You can. You can.
I think there's some spots you can probably. I'm trying to think, but I'm
Oh.
sure there's areas. Would you take out? Do you know when you come out the tunnel and you've got that?
Oh, yeah, where you
Chicane.
come out of the tunnel and then you've got that braking where you go over the
You
it's
brake
a,
and you go
It's a left,
hard
right,
left,
and then a right, left.
Yeah,
And then you go past to back.
yeah. Would you take that out and make that straighter so there's no turn?
You could do
no,
that.
that's the only overtaking spot on the fucking track, man. You take out the only overtaking spot on the track.
Oh, other than Saint Devote.
Yeah. Other than Saint Devote.
Yeah.
It's wet.
Bloody hell, it's raining. It's all right, I'll fix that up soon. No, I know how to fix Monaco. Make the cars slimmer. Because they're 2 meters wide. Then, you know, when the cars were, I think, 1.6 and 1.8 meters wide, they could actually do more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, back in the 80s when those cars were like narrow and like short. The out and center days, Monaco never seemed to be a problem. But then by the mid 90s, like the cars were so big and they had the V10s in them and shit that they'd outgrown the track.
that blipping sound is actually the roof is leaking.
It's
And I
rather
put a
moist.
bucket under there. So, yeah.
That's that.
That's what the noise is. So, if you don't like it, you can go listen to Joe Rogan. Don't care. Yeah, we do. We do.
Please
don't leave us.
Please do.
But, yeah, I don't want to see Monaco go. As
No.
much as I hate the fucking race and I hate driving on that track in the game, it's a legacy track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? It makes qualifying. It's probably one of the more exciting qualifying
Yeah.
track tracks because you know how important it is.
And, I mean, when there is a prang, holy shit, is there a prang?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's... And just the simple fact, like, they finish the race, park the cars, and they're straight on the podium. There's
Yeah.
no fucking police escorts or anything. Like,
Yep.
they're straight there.
This has actually got a marina that's real.
It's real water.
Yeah, real boats, real, like...
That's Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't want to see Monaco go, but I think they do need to look at slimming the cars a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure they can look at improvements, as more improvements to make it more better for overtaking. They definitely need to do that, but they don't need to get rid of it.
Yeah. Right, so that's all the news items that we have for this week. There's quite a lot of them, actually. So now we're going to move on to the drivers' standings. In first place is Charles Leclerc, driving for Ferrari, on 104 points. Max Verstappen in second place in the Red Bull on 85 points. He's closed that gap right up.
He's won every race he's finished.
Yeah.
The only reason he's not leading the championship right now is there's like 2 DNFs.
Yeah. Third place is Sergio Perez with 66 points. He's being a real good tail gunner, that guy. He's being consistent when his car isn't breaking down.
Yep.
Fourth place is George Russell on 59 points. Again, he is being consistent.
Hasn't finished outside of the top 5.
He's the only driver on the grid that hasn't finished outside the top 5 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Consistency.
Sixth place is Carlos Sainz with 53 points. He needs to get in there. He needs to get in there, Lewis.
He does.
He did enough today.
Yeah.
He finished the race and got a podium. That's what he needed to
And he
get some
swore
confidence
in the
back.
cool room too.
Yeah. And I mean, he put it second.
And I'm
in
financially
quali, so-
invested in you bastard.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, this makes me so happy. In sixth place is Lewis Hamilton on 36 points. In seventh place, 1 point behind Lewis Hamilton,
Who didn't even finish this race.
is Lando Norris on 35 points. In eighth place is Valtteri Bottas on 30 points. He's nipping at his heels too.
I would love to see Bottas finish higher than him by the end of the year. Wouldn't that just be... Mwah.
You know what would even be better if he finished ahead of both Mercedes drivers.
It would, but to at least beat Hamilton would be
Yeah.
wicked.
In ninth place is Esteban Ocon in the Alpine on 24 points. And rounding out the top 10 is Kevin Magnussen in the Haas on 15 points. The Constructors' Championships, wow, this is closed right up now. Ferrari is still leading the Constructors on 157 points. Second place is Red Bull Racing on 151. Third place in pretty much no man's land is Mercedes AMG on 95 points. Fourth place is McLaren Mercedes on 46 points. Fifth place is Alfa Romeo Ferrari on 31 points. Sixth is Alpine Renault on 26 points. Seventh is AlphaTauri on 16 points. Eighth is Haas, nipping at the heels of AlphaTauri with 15 points. Aston Martin is ninth with 6 points, and Williams is 10th, but they have 3 points.
Nipping at the hills?
That is
Heels of
more
Aston Martin?
points that they've genuinely scored. Not because the
Yeah.
race is being cancelled, but genuinely been scored that they've done in quite a few seasons. So
Yeah, Albon's been excellent. He's been up there where he's pushed that car to be either finishing just outside of the points or he's sneaking in for the points with just good racing.
Man,
And-
that fucking sucks. Remember we said Mercedes and McLaren were going to ding-dong it for the B class?
yeah,
McLaren has totally shat the bed in the last 2 races.
yeah.
Oof.
And this is where it's not looking good for Ricardo.
Yeah.
So we come to the end of the episode. So we got the next race in 2 weeks, which is the Spanish F1, which
Should be nice and processional.
yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion this track is going to lean more towards the Red Bull than the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the Mercedes are going to qualify badly, but they're going to do well in the race again. I think the McLarens are probably going to be in no man's land.
I think the McLarens need to fucking step up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind to see that the Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo resurgence.
Oh, we would all want to see it.
Oh yeah,
I think the McLaren might like Barcelona a bit.
Yeah.
We'll see. Time will tell. Hopefully, I'm right. But
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a McLaren resurgence. They're the one team I want to be seeing doing well every weekend. That just
I mean, we
hasn't
started
been.
so well. Like Lando was on the podium last race, and now we're just fucking nowhere.
The thing about Spain, it's very tricky to get the car set up right.
Yeah, exactly.
You either set it up for the first half of the track, or you set it up for the second half of the track.
Yeah.
The first half is clearly that long straight and a few other straights in it.
And the sweeper,
But the second half of the track is the technical stuff.
the shitty little sharp corners, and that Gumby chicane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think one side of that track benefits the Ferrari, the other benefits the Red Bull. So
Should be a good scrap.
it's going to be a
Yeah.
good scrap.
Mm.
And despite the fact that this Miami race was boring as all shit, the one thing that kept it interesting is still that fight between Max and Charles.
Yeah, which I think we're going to see all year, which is excellent.
It's almost like we thought last year was an amazing season. This is making last year's season feel like it was 2015. Like it's just making last year's season pale in comparison.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Yeah, we'll
you're-
go that far. Yeah, but
you're
the
entitled
battles.
to your
Are,
opinion.
Huh?
I still maintain last season was the best season of Formula One I've ever
Oh
seen.
yeah, but I mean
This championship battle has This is going to be a season-long battle as well, but this season-long battle is just two drivers that are out there driving for the love of driving that have been against each other since go-karting.
And despite the fact they hated each other in go-karting, they actually have a lot of mutual respect for each other.
Yeah, unlike
Yeah.
Lewis and Max, who fucking hated each other.
I think the difference that would separate this season from last season was last season everyone wanted Max to beat Lewis Hamilton
Yeah.
because it was an underdog story. This year, it's not so much an underdog. It's two great drivers with two great teams
Yeah,
going
this
at it.
year
And it's
you
going to be great for that spectacle of that, and they're probably going to go to the end, and it's going to be great. But
Yeah.
what made last year so amazing was the fact that it was the underdog knocking off the most dominant force for the last however
I
many
think
years.
if you look online when it comes to this year's season, there's two different camps. There's the people that have a personality and a brain who are sitting there saying this is an amazing fight between Max and Charles. And then you got the Lewis Hamilton fanboys that just simply cannot accept that Lewis Hamilton is not in there with a fight. The Mercedes is a dog. They don't have a hope in Hades, and his shot was last year, and he didn't take it, and they need to accept that he didn't win the championship. You can't keep blaming Michael fucking Massey.
No, you can't.
So that's my comment on that.
That's that. All right, let's wrap this fucker up before the roof caves in.
It's not going to cave in. It's just got hot. It's
Support beam looks pretty wet.
Yeah, I know. No, it'll be
Did you
fine.
have a rant you had to get off your chest, Phil?
Oh, there's no point. There's no point. We're at the end of the episode.
Store it.
Save it.
Yeah.
Save it for the end of the season when it mattered.
When I remember it too.
Yeah. It's gone.
Anyway, so after I just let off a massive sneeze, thanks for that, God, or whoever. So we will be back in 2 weeks with the Spanish F1. But on behalf of JB, Longhorn, our missing cohort, Barry Enchilada, and anyone else that has a commentary on what we say or whatever, we thank you for joining us, and we
D-
will...
Sorry, quick, don't forget to check us out on Twitter, the F1 Chat 1,
on the Twitter.
on the Twitter. Get some interaction going. It's awesome to see. And thanks for listening to us on Spotify or YouTube, however you choose to listen to us. Subscribe, suggest it to other people interested in Formula One, and thank you for listening.
And leave a comment, man. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the show.
Yeah.
Rate, review, whatever. Rip us to shreds. I don't care.
Yeah, tell me how
I-
shit my opinions are.
Yeah, rip me to shreds. Tell
Don't
us
don't
everything.
rip me to shreds.
We know
I
nothing.
can't take it.
Yeah, it's just like
It'll hurt my feelings, and I'll end up committing suicide over it because
well, that's
much
dark.
Cool.
much like Lewis Hamilton, I just can't take it.
Just can't cop criticism,
I just
can you,
can't.
Lewis?
I can't. People have to make decisions for me so I can blame it on them.
Yeah. This strategy sucks. Wasn't this the strategy you fucking didn't want to commit to? Yes. That's why it sucks. Why didn't you tell me to commit to something? Because you told us to not let you commit. Okay. It still sucks though.
Yeah, strategy sucks, man.
It's like that line from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Too late will be the cry when the man with the bargains has passed you by. Right. So, thank you for tuning in. We will catch you in 2 weeks for the Spanish F1. Until then, it is goodbye.